want to talk about Slots and Daggers, a roguelike game by Friedman that I've been playing for the past few weeks. More specifically, I want to complain about something I've started to notice in a lot of roguelikes that have come out in what I've been calling the post-Balatro era. But first, an overview. Slots and Daggers is a widely received, cheap video game, self-proclaimed as a retro mini roguelike inside a slot machine, in which you fight your way through a series of endless turn-based fights with a slot machine full of weapons and skills you purchase between the battles. While the game does include several mechanics that allow the player some sort of agency, like purchasing items that can appear on each slot or between rounds, some of which involve timing-based skill shots that improve their potency, you ultimately are at the whim of a random chance. The core gameplay loops culminate into simple battles by smashing the slot button over and over, hoping that your enemy's health bar gets smaller quicker than yours. You can argue this is a pretty unobtrusive, honest game, and for $5 American, it mostly feels that way. But how you end up progressing through it is where I find fault. Between each victory, you earn chips, a currency that can be used to buy permanent upgrades that carry through each run. Upgrades like increased gold gain, increased damage, and more slots. This is a mechanic often utilized by other roguelike games called asymmetrical or non-linear progression, where after losing enough times, generally speaking, you will unlock boons or abilities that will help mitigate losing in the future. This is a feature that, when done well, the player doesn't need to use it. But in Slots and Daggers and other post-Balatro era games that have released in the past year and a half, there's no real way to progress without it. You see, in my playthrough a couple hours into the game, I had unlocked all the possible weapons and items you can find between runs, but purposely ignored the non-linear chip-based progression, wanting to see if I could get by with just skill alone. But I found myself consistently losing on the third level, because the damage and health of the enemies scales so immensely, it becomes almost impossible to win unless you got incredibly lucky. And that's the problem. The reason I call these games post-Balatro era is not only because most of them have done away with the facade that is roguelike deck building to reveal the true core of what these games are, gambling, but also because they follow or attempt to follow the particular flavor of incremental progression that happens in Balatro. A sort of learn from your mistakes while slowly being drip-fed items that help you progress. But I'm finding more and more that these games often miss the plot and lean too heavy on the asymmetrical progression systems until they act as sort of a crutch that makes up for the lack of finesse or RNG balancing, ultimately creating a game that reveals its hands too soon and dulls aspects of the genre that I personally find most engaging, aspects like problem solving, intuition, and exploration. In Slots and Daggers, there's no reward for trying new strategies when you're always going to reach a wall that can't be cleared without an immense amount of luck. I ended up just using my chips for upgrades out of pure frustration, after trying every combo of items I felt were viable. And immediately, I passed easily through the levels I had struggled with prior, and proceeded to beat the game with a build I had tried before with little to no effort. In the end, I was disappointed. I was left with this bad taste in my mouth that coalesced with this feeling I've been having for a while. A sort of ennui about the video game industry. I think we can all agree that following trends has been a driving force for the game industry for as long as we can remember. But in recent years, it feels it's become the only force, as though everyone is waiting for the next original idea to come out so they can regurgitate an unrefined replica. And while I can understand the desire to strike while the iron's hot, the reality is, at least for me, I can barely recall playing most of these games. They're like fast food. They feel good in the moment and they fill you up, but you'll never look back fondly on the McDonald's burger you ate 3 weeks ago. They're empty calories. I've said for a while that we deserve better as players, but this goes even further than that. I believe that devs deserve better as well. I understand that imitation is a great way to learn and build a skill set, and there's nothing wrong with taking another game's successful mechanic and putting it in yours. But the media environment we live in now encourages quick and dirty meshing together of random successful parts of every trendy game of the week. And it creates a shoddy foundation for the future generation of games. It enforces a feeling of indifference that I believe is eroding at creative integrity in the modern world. This sense of, oh, I don't need to create anything unique. I can just combine the feel-good parts of other things. You owe it to yourself not to only explore what works, but take risks and exercise your creativity in unexpected ways that strengthen your creative core. I understand that the system as it stands now encourages iteration over innovation, because failure is increasingly tied to one's livelihoods. And because of that, the margin of experimentation has gotten smaller. But we owe it to ourselves to take creative risks. I owe most of what I am as an artist, designer, and creator to the risks I was willing to take. And yes, while I may miss out on some of the most instant gratification we've been taught to crave because of it, the success I've had, big or small, has stuck with me my whole life and made me who I am today. Okay, I may have gone off track here a bit, so let me bring it back. Slots and Daggers isn't a bad game. It has many design features that have proven themselves to work time and time again. The style and feel are great, and it does show a visual refinement that one can only get through a willingness to explore and experiment. But it falls prey to this air of insecurity that I believe we face more and more each day, which dampens its overall experience. If I were to rate the game, I'd give it a D+. It's not boring, but it's just empty past its shell. And while it's not the worst game in the world, I can't recommend it. Yes, it is cheap, but something being cheap doesn't imply you need to buy it. You can easily get more value of something else. Thanks for watching. Hey there, if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. I apologize for the long gaps between otherwise short videos. To be honest, on top of having very little free time to work on these, I've also just been struggling with making YouTube videos lately. I don't like what YouTube is doing with AI, and I really don't like the overall content creator culture or vibe, while really considering how I want to navigate YouTube in general. If you've been a longtime subscriber who watches all my videos, I really do appreciate it. Seeing regulars engage with my videos in the comments really is one of the major reasons I want to keep making videos in the first place, and I hope I can keep making something worth watching for you all, and find a way to do it that works best for me. All I ask is your continued patience and support. If you've made it this far and you're not 10 videos deep into the autoplay algorithm, consider subscribing and checking out my other videos. If you're wanting a less scripted, more laid-back version of my stuff, consider following me on Twitch at twitch.tv/bencho. I try to stream at least a couple times a week around 7 p.m. Western, playing games with my friends and other streamers, hanging out, or working on random projects. So if that's your thing, go check it out and turn on notifications so you'll know when I'm live. That's it for me. Until next time, thanks again for watching.